But the number one mistake that we see people making when they're negotiating compensation is that they're using salary information from publicly available websites like Glassdoor and other sites. And the problem is that this data is very unreliable because guess what? No employer uses those data sources. They have a completely different data source that you don't have access to, which is called a salary survey. And these salary surveys are available by subscription. And one of the terms and conditions for an employer when they subscribe to these salary surveys is they have to upload to the place that they get this stuff from the payroll information for their workforce, right? That's how these salary surveys actually work, is that everybody who's subscribed shares their actual payroll information. And that's how they know that this data is highly reliable, right? But those sites out there like Glassdoor, you have no idea whether somebody's telling you the truth, what their comp is, whether they're inflating it, deflating it. I mean, you don't know. It's super unreliable. And the trap that people fall into is they assume that it's highly reliable, and they take that into their negotiating sessions, and so they often feel like the employer's lowballing them, really, because I think there's a lot of salary inflation on sites like Glassdoor. It's distorted, and so and so that's probably going to trigger you emotionally. Not only are you going to have bad data, but you're going to get triggered. Not a recipe for success.
So I've actually seen the opposite as well, using
Yeah.
information like Glassdoor, where it's lower than what the employer would have offered you. One of our students that I was mentioning earlier, when he went in to do the negotiation with that Fortune 100 company,
Hmm.
he had a number in mind that he thought he was going to get offered, and he followed our tips and let them, put out a number first, and the number they came out with was higher than what he was going to ask for. So, so he was very happy, and then stayed
Yeah.
with the negotiation and got that up a little bit more too. So it worked out really well. But just be aware of that, because a lot of Glassdoor data is either self-reported data, so I can
Hmm.
go in there and say, hey, I am an instructor with Dion Training, and I make $60,000 per year, whatever it is, right? And then that goes in that system. Now, do I really make $60,000 a year? You don't know. It's just what I put in the system that said I did.
Are you
Uh,
telling me there's trolls on the internet, Jason?
Never, never.
Never. No, of
Um,
course not.
but yeah, I mean, and that's one of those things that, like, and the other thing is that salary information is not really the whole picture either. And we'll talk more about that too. But for instance, I just actually gave you my salary. If you look at my paychecks, I make $60,000 a year from Dion Training. That's how much Dion Training pays me to be an instructor and to work in film courses and all that kind of good stuff from that company. Now, that's only a part of my total compensation, but that is my salary. And so if I went into Glassdoor and said, yes, a lead instructor Dion Training makes $60,000 a year, that's not really true. That's way low ball versus what I actually make, because I have profit sharing in the company and other things like that. So it is one of those things you have to be aware of. I could either say, hey, I make $1 million a year, and then I'm throwing all the numbers off, or I could say I'm making $20,000 a year, and it's just data that I threw out there. It's not really real. I like what Kip was talking about, the fact that the employers have more information than you do, because they have this accurate data across the industry. Just like if you think about your credit report, it's the same way these credit reporting agencies work. They get all the data from the credit card companies, and then they turn around and give back a score to those credit card companies. But to get that score as a credit card company, you have to give them data on all your people that you have credit cards with. And so it is that two-way street that's happening, and you see the same thing with the salary information.